Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we have another article from none other than Variety. And this one is a little different. AMC Theaters chief Aron pushes for Paramount-Warner Bros. Merger, says thanks, but no thanks to state AGs blocking the deal. Now, what you might notice as we go through this is the title, the chief is Aron. This article is by Aron. So he wrote his own piece in Variety, and I guess he's got the pull to get that done. So probably dealing with somebody with a lot of clout, if I had to guess. So here's what he says, or here's what the article says. Of all the great cinematic narrative arcs, there's something special about the comeback. Think Rocky, The Shawshank Redemption, The Natural. A much maligned or doubted hero rises and triumphs against all odds. Goosebumps every time. Sounds like it's written by a movie exec, right? The comeback saga rings ever so true for those in the movie theater industry and for those millions of moviegoers who love to watch dazzling images on the huge silver screens of theaters. 6 seemingly long and sometimes brutal years ago, COVID hit the theatrical distribution business with what many predicted would be a fatal blow. Conventional wisdom callously had it that audiences might never return, especially after the pandemic in 2020 was followed in short order in 2023 by 2 prolonged industry-wide strikes. Oh yeah, the strikes. Do you remember that? Seems like stuff just dropped off, didn't it? It took a while. I totally forgot about the strikes. The result of both was a much maligned, thinned out movie release calendar that for several years hit theater operators hard. AMC Theaters in the US and our Odeon? Looks like Odin, but it's E-O-N. Anyway, Odeon Cinemas in Europe are together the world's largest movie theater operator. We never believed that moviegoers in theaters was an anachronistic I cannot read. Anachronistic relic of some bygone era. Somebody broke out the source for this article. Despite an admittedly painful loss in the box office, our confidence in our future and our resolve to get through the crisis was never in doubt. As our friend and champion Nicole Kidman has been telling one and all, we come to this place for magic. And at AMC, we know above all else that magic doesn't ever go out of style. He's got away with words. Whoever's writing this for him. Or maybe he did it. Let's give him credit. His name's on it, right? Comebacks, however, do require hard work. AMC did our part, making our company more efficient, finding new sources of revenue, and since 2020, investing more than $1 billion in maintaining and enhancing our fleet of theaters. A fleet of theaters. That's a lot. Our reinvestments within our world include AMC providing to our guests more premium screens, brighter laser projection. I didn't realize that the laser projection was brighter. More comfortable and spacious seating. I did notice that. An increased commitment to booming sound systems and more ambitious food and beverage offerings, meaning more expensive. But they do have a variety if you're willing to pay. But the comfiest recliners in the world aren't worth what they're made of if there aren't incredible and worthy films to be showcased on our giant screens, and that's where the 2026 real comeback has started to happen. Universal and Illumination lit up the screen with Super Mario. Lionsgate displayed for all to see the genius and eccentricity of Michael? Missed that one. Disney's 20th century label harkened back to the beloved tale in which A Devil Wears Prada. Directed by a 20-year-old filmmaker, Backrooms became A24's highest ever grossing film. And Amazon's biggest project yet after acquiring MGM, Project Hail Mary instantly established itself as a global phenomenon. As I write this, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is racing towards $1 billion worldwide, a blockbuster based on a 2,700-year-old poem. Did people not know that The Odyssey was based on it? Anyway. And likely the biggest movie of the year so far, Sony's Spider-Man Brand New Day is set to engage and delight audiences in enormous numbers. Happily, this comeback tale is proving itself out before our very eyes. In the second quarter of 2026, AMC Entertainment just reported our highest ever revenues and our largest ever adjusted EBITDA, that's EBITDA, in our company's entire 106-year history. I repeat, for fans of a comeback, this was AMC's most successful quarter ever. I don't know when he's actually going to get to the part where he says he doesn't want or that he's for the deal, but we're going to press on because in for a penny, in for a pound. This also sounds like an investor letter, like something you would hear earnings or pre-earnings or post-earnings. I don't know when they send those out. Looking forward, there is yet another milestone that suggests better times are immediately ahead for those who quote, adore the movies. The proposed Paramount-Warner Bros. Discovery merger is poised to create a powerful combined company, one that will have the scale and the passion to deliver even much more films to theater screens the world over. Hey, we finally got to it. It's a move that is feared by some, but in our strongly held view, this instead is a step forward that should be welcomed and celebrated. So he's for it. Perhaps that's why Paramount's action to strengthen itself has already been cleared by competitive authorities and regulators in the United States, Europe, and throughout the world as of this writing in some 65 countries globally already. What if they don't get approval across all the countries? Is it like not allowed to happen in that country? If you know, leave a comment below because I don't know what happens there. Does that mean they can't operate there anymore? Like I don't get it. It's critical to the industry's future that this transaction be completed as soon as possible so that we can all build on the momentum that finally, after 6 tough years, only recently has been established. For that to happen, though, the legal challenge from a group of possibly well-intentioned state attorneys general must be overcome. Wow. Did you see what he said there? Possibly. I feel like it's a little on the nose, right? That you might be well-intentioned, but you're wrong. Isn't that like that's like the South? Oh, bless your heart, right? Bless your heart. The domestic box office just had its strongest quarter in 7 years. Wow. Growing a satisfying 11% from a year ago. Indeed, guests in all age groups flocked to movie theaters. Perhaps more encouraging is who is leading the way. Some 87% of Gen Z saw a movie in a theater over the past year, the highest percentage of any generation. As it turns out, young people who supposedly were to be lost forever to TikTok now instead have been turning moviegoing in theaters into a social event. I mean, it's always going to be a social event, right? So long as the movie's good. Like, I remember going in high school. I'm sure everybody, when you were in high school, you went to the theater. History repeats itself. They're doing exactly as their parents and grandparents and great-grandparents have done continuously for more than a century. Yeah, you just got to have good movies to go see. But this resurgence can only continue if we have a steady supply of great movies, marketed well, and given enough time in theaters to become cultural events. That's not a given, and it won't happen just because there may have been a few strong quarters along the way. But by our sadly precise estimate, the number of theatrically released films from our major Hollywood studios has fallen in recent years since COVID and the strikes. Simply put, movie theater operators have needed more movies entering our ecosystem. I didn't realize it was down so much. I feel like movies have been steady. Do you feel like there's been a drop off? I mean, there's been like very little that I wanted to see, but I didn't feel like there was a huge drop off, but maybe there was. He would know more than I would. As important as the movie count itself also is the length of time that movies stay exclusively in theaters. Since COVID hit, studio after studio experimented with rushing to take movies to the home, ironically in what several key movie-making legends have decried and lamented as a self-destructive move. Hollywood has been training the audience not to head out to the theaters, but instead wait patiently at home. By doing so, they deprived us all of precious communal viewing, as always has been the case, seemingly forever. When you watch a movie with others, the laughs get louder, the action seems more intense, the tears flow more quickly. To quote the best one-liner synopsis that AMC ever has had written, sometimes heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Taking this all together, that is why the future of the companies making movies matters so much to us. Well, he just wants people to go to the theater and buy popcorn because that's where their margins are, right? Like they're not making too much on the actual movie, but they're making a boatload on the soda and beer and candy and pretzel bites and nachos and everything else. And now I'm making myself hungry. So of course they want them in the theaters longer. And I know the theaters or the movie studios wanted their movies out during COVID, but going straight to video, I think did spoil something. Like movies used to be, it'd be in the theater and then it'd be out of the theater. And then you had a dead period until the DVD came out. And then the DVD coming out was like a whole other thing. It was a whole other event. Like, oh, you're going to go get the DVD? Like it's out today. We can go watch the movie again. But now it seems like, I don't know, the second it's done at the theater, or even sometimes while it's still in the theater, you can watch it on Amazon if you want to buy it. So like, what's the point? Why would you go? And I get why they don't like that, but I think the movie industry is missing out on sales. Like Wonder Woman, and I think it was Black Widow. The Black Widow movie just came out. Like it wasn't in the theater. Granted, nobody could go, but they just came out, and that was, I don't know. I would have sat on those. Like why? I don't know. I think the studios were concerned, and there was a lot of unknown. Like how long is this going to last? Is this going to be forever? Is this going to be the new way we do things? And they were probably just trying to get the eyeballs on them the best they could back then. But hindsight being what it is, they probably should have waited. All right, back to the article. Traditional movie studios and independent filmmakers are no longer competing only with one another, but also with enormous technology companies who can treat filmed entertainment as one product line inside a much larger subscription, advertising, hardware, or e-commerce machine. Those tech companies can and often do produce great films, and some of them have demonstrated a willingness to support theatrical releases, which we at AMC both greatly appreciate and eagerly embrace. Indeed, we intend to sell more tickets for them in theaters than does anyone else on earth. Well, you've got the most theaters. You should probably be able to sell the most tickets. But their commitment to theatrical release is likely to endure and increase only if they feel real competitive pressure, not just on their streaming platforms, but also from movie companies who are pushing them to fight for culture and commercial relevance in the multiplex. This is really just one big article about, hey, come back to the theater. We need the theater. That kind of intense competition won't happen if companies like Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery are forced to struggle along as subscale competitors, which is exactly what will happen in our views if their merger is blocked. Really, you think that Warner Bros. And Paramount are just going to stop making content if the deal doesn't go through? That seems, I don't know. Paramount has an entire network, and the WB's got tons of stuff on HBO Max, so I don't know if I agree with all that. The AG's lawsuit argues in part that this merger needs to be prevented to protect companies like mine. Well, thanks, but no thanks. Their complaint simply gets the economics of our business backwards. Well, I don't know. What's the line? Hey, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help. Like that's the worst thing you can hear. It could be that. I mean, they're trying to help out, but not really helping anything out. AMC license films one by one and theater by theater. Every week we decide what to show, on how many screens, and for how long. We negotiate revenue splits and other terms with every major distributor. We are not naive about bargaining power, and we do not give hours away. Over and over again, AMC has chosen not to play a movie if we were unsuccessful in negotiating film terms that we think are fair and reasonable both to the filmmaker along with their studio distributors as well as to ourselves as an exhibitor. Exhibitor. That's a fun word. We have every confidence in our own ability to stand up and defend our commercial interests. Interesting. I didn't realize they negotiated every single movie. Did you realize that? But even with that said, a weak slate is a much greater threat to us than a strong studio. More movies mean more ticket sales. A commitment to observe a respectable theatrical window draws bigger audiences to the theaters. The better movies that are marketed well and are icing on the cake. It also generates more moviegoers, which translates in turn to more delicious popcorn being consumed and more and more energy being very much in evidence throughout a theater. Oh, more energy in the theater. By stark contrast, a sparse movie slate leaves seats empty no matter what the percentage splits of the box office may be negotiated among the relevant parties. So basically, they are trying to get the butts in the seats. All right, how much more of this is there? Not much. All right, David Ellison and multiple executives on his team have said publicly and committed to me personally that a combined Paramount and Warner Bros. Will release at least 30 films theatrically each year, each with a minimum 45-day premium on-demand video and minimum 90-day subscription on-demand video exclusive theatrical window. So basically, stuff's going to be in the theater longer. These are specific and measurable commitments addressing the two things that movie theater operators need most: more movies and enough time to turn them into events. If the AGs are truly concerned about the future of theaters, they should focus on holding the new company accountable for delivering on these promises. At AMC, we surely intend to do so. The good news is we don't need to take David Ellison's word for it. There's a real track record here. Paramount released only 8 films last year. That's interesting. After Ellison's Skydance took control, it put the studio on track to release 15 movies this year in 2026. Similarly, increased the number of movies being greenlit for future releases. Not just any old movies either, I might add. Not just any old movies, I might add. David Ellison has already demonstrated that he is a consummate movie executive. Yeah, consummate. Having made commercially pleasing films that have entertained the entire world, examples being Top Gun Maverick, multiple films in the Mission Impossible franchise, and Air are just some of his recent titles. What's more, Paramount has already put into action its promise to respect longer theatrical windows, could have waited to create a future bargaining chip with regulators, but to its eternal credit, it did not play games. Paramount already gave theater operators exactly what we need on this all-important front and did it the right way. Competition should be measured not only by the number of logos on studio gates, but by what actually reaches American screens and those in cinemas all around. But by what actually reaches American screens and those in cinemas all around the world. I can talk sometimes. Theater audiences are telling us exactly what they want: more movies, more movies exclusively shown in theaters, and better movies. That's what the foundation of the nascent comeback of the theatrical ecosystem. That's the foundation of the nascent comeback of the theatrical ecosystem. Wow, he's quite the wordsmith, isn't he? We all need to nurture it, not starve it. Approving the Paramount-Warner deal, letting a combined company get about the business of producing huge numbers of great films is a big step in the right direction. This is precisely why AMC Entertainment, the largest movie theater chain on the planet, is a full-throated supporter of doing so. Wow, that was a long one. All right, so who is this Aron guy? So he has been the CEO of AMC for looks like 10 years or so. And prior to that, he worked for Pan Am, Hyatt, United Airlines, Norwegian Cruise Line, Vail Resorts, and the Philadelphia 76ers. I think he's a co-owner of the 76ers now. So this guy is worth a crap ton of money. And you got to wonder, I mean, he's just trying to keep his business in business, right? But you also have to wonder, like, is he buddies with Ellison? Who else does he know? And it looks like he was on CNBC not too long ago. So it's interesting. You've got a number of actors, like the video I did with Benedict Wong, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Alan Cumming, saying they're not for it at all. And then you've got some of these bigger business people and CEO types that are like, all for it, let's go, pedal to the metal. So I think everybody's got their interest in it, but I don't know if one's concerns trump the other. I don't want to see theaters go away, but I don't think monopolies are good either. But would this really be a monopoly? Because Disney owns how many things? ESPN, Marvel, Star Wars, X-Men, list goes on. So let me know what you think in the comments. That's the latest from the Paramount-Warner Bros. Deal, and I will catch you all on the next one.